Some say it's been a 20-year journey, but actually it's been a 30-year journey. And it started in 1986 when the state of Delaware was celebrating the bicentennial, the second bicentennial of the signing of the Constitution. You all know that Delaware was the first to ratify the Constitution. And back in 1986, plans were being made to celebrate that. But the plans did not include African Americans. I met with the director and she said, nothing's going on. So to make a long story short, we formed a statewide organization that became the Afro-American Historical Society. And we set out a plan, we formed a plan of activities and projects that we thought would be appropriate for preserving our history and informing the public of this precious history. And at the top of the list was the most difficult, and that was that we wanted to establish an African American museum or heritage center. That was 1986. Fast forward 10 years, in 1996, when MBNA was purchasing properties in Wilmington to build their office complex, move it from Newark to Wilmington. And one of the sites they purchased was the Mother Church at 12th and French Streets. A letter was sent to the president of MBNA, Charles Cawley, asking this simple question: does corporate expansion always have to threaten Black historic sites? He responded by setting up a meeting with a Mr. Lance Weaver. And from that meeting, the idea of an African American Heritage Center was presented to MBNA. They did not know where the L.I. Kidd building was located. But I knew because I used to work here as a janitor when I was at college. A couple of weeks after that meeting, Mayor Sills called me and said, Harmon, MBNA is going to donate the L.I. Kidd building to become an African American Heritage Center. Now I say to you, and there's been questions about whether this building should be used for other purposes, and no doubt there are any number of good projects that this building could be used for. But it seems to me that there should be some respect given to the donors who specify what they wanted it used for. So I am so happy to be here, as I was happy in 1996 when we met here to announce the acquisition of the building and the plans then, 20 years ago, to establish an African American Heritage Center. Now, forgive me for that rather lengthy statement of background, but I think it's important that the record be set and that you all know that so that you can share it with your family and friends who perhaps are unaware of it or who could not be here today. Okay, so this is very much a momentous occasion. And again, I want to thank each one of you for coming. The next item on the agenda, we're going to calls for some greetings. And there's one change that's been made. Tom Gordon, who's a friend to us all, could not be here. He had planned to come, but when the time of the meeting was changed, when the time of the ceremony was changed, he had a commitment that he could not break. But he told Reverend Wright, and Reverend Wright told me to announce to everyone, which I'm doing, that he regrets not being here, but he is present in spirit, and that he strongly supports this effort and that he applauds Mayor Sills and the members of the African American Heritage Center for this significant accomplishment. So we'll move in to the speaker who is listed on the program, the newly elected president of the State Conference of NAAC, of the NAACP, a radio talk show host, a television talk show host, a dancer supreme, Mr. Linwood Jackson. Come on, Linwood. The reason why I'm dressed this way instead of in my customary t-shirt or dashiki is I knew he was going to come dressed like that, and I didn't want him to shame me $2. Linwood.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Harmon Carey. Greetings, everyone. My name is Linwood Jackson. I am currently serving as president of the NAACP Delaware State Conference of Branches. And I did bring my vice president here with me. She's out here supporting me, Miss Alicia Clark. Raise your hand, Alicia. Give her a hand, please. We're going to try to do the work in NAACP here in Delaware, and we're going to need all y'all help, so be warned. I also have the privilege of serving on the board of the African American Historical Society with the founder and director, Mr. Harmon Carey. And on behalf of the American or the African American Heritage Center, I would like to welcome everyone here today. Thank you for this historic event. We are here to witness the L.I. Kidd Building contract signing ceremony, where today this building will become an institute for the African American heritage. Here on the east side of Wilmington, where the Wilmington City Council approved this Black Heritage Zone. Give it up. Give it up. I remember as a kid walking past this building to go to school. My first year in school was right there down the street at Stubbs Elementary. I actually lived around the corner there on Sherman Street with my grandmother, Miss Gladys Ringgold, who lived to be 105 years old. And every day I'd walk past this building, either going to school or to the YMCA, and I always wondered what in the world was going on in this building. But little did I know then that this area would become a Black Heritage Zone, let alone this building becoming an institute for African American heritage. And right here on 11th and Clifford Brown Walkway, of all places, give it up again, please. An area where so many prominent African Americans from Wilmington, Delaware went to school, played, and lived right here. How many of you guys out there have dreams? By show of hands, hold them up. How many of you guys got dreams? Do you believe in them? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Miss Alice Dunbar and Miss Pauline Young, who were teachers at Howard High School, the only high school for black kids in Wilmington at that time, give it up, rightly so, because in those days, the kids walked to school. And you know, we went on, Alice Dunbar and Miss Pauline Young went on to charter the first NAACP branch here in Wilmington, Delaware. How about the attorney Lewis Redding? You remember him? Remember the Brown versus Board of Education? Well, the attorney Lewis Redding building is not far from here. How about the courthouse, the newly named courthouse, Judge Leonard Williams? Not far from here, give it up. Prominent African Americans right here, living right here in the community. Bob Marley played his music right here. Well, they all had dreams. And a lot of them probably played out their dreams at the Knotty Pine restaurant, where they all hung out to have a bite to eat, you know, a little chat and chew, if you will. And that's where they had their dreams, and it manifested right there. Dream on, dream on. A lot of people went to work to make this dream happen right here today. And this today is this historic L.I. Kidd building becomes an institute for African American heritage. And I am standing next to the dreamer himself. He is the host of the television show Freedom's Journey on Comcast Channel 28. And by the way, the 28 should be recognized because it's less than 1% of TV stations in this entire country that's run by African Americans. Matter of fact, we have President Ms. Ruth Baker right there. Hold your hand up, Ms. Ruth Baker, sitting right next to. We got a lot of talk show hosts right here from Comcast 28. I'm standing right here next to the founder and the director of African American Heritage Center, Mr. Harmon Carey. And on behalf of the NAACP Delaware State Conference, I commend you and I thank you for having the vision and the dream to see this building turn into an African American Historic Heritage Center. Thank you so very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the day.
Linwood, those were very kind words and very moving words, and I can tell just having heard you speak for the first time that the NAACP is in good hands and that a lot of good things are going to happen under your leadership. And I'll let you know right now you got my 100% support. Thank you, Linwood. I've just been told by Reverend Wright that Tom Gordon has come, so let's give him a warm welcome. Thank you.
I had to resign from the board after taking office in 2012, but I know the history, I know the tradition, and I believe in the reason why we have to save this building, and I'll be contributing. Reverend Bullock has said he'd make funds available, and he's a believer that this is something that we have to get accomplished this time. There's been a lot of false starts. This building's not getting any better. But the tradition here, you've all been talked about, and I'm just proud that I can see the city on a rebound, and this is a very, very important part of it. And I thank all the people, the mayor, who has been chairman, Mayor Sills, who was chairman. The fact that our current mayor is involved in it is a powerful message, as well as Harmon Carey, and I see all the people that have been on the board when I was here. And I'm just proud that we're going to get it restarted again with a different angle, and you count me in. Thank you very much.
You know, I do get a lot of commendation and credit for this, but trust me, friends, it wasn't the Harmon Carey show. There were a lot of folks who backed us. I see Miss Cornegay here, lives right up the street. I remember she used to participate in our demonstrations, and Josie Roy and Ruth Baker. So please don't give me all the credit. I'll take a crumb or two of credit. Okay, I'll give you that, but let's not forget the other soldiers in the battle. And two of those are here, and I want to give special commendation to them, because really, were it not for their efforts, we would not be here. We have a councilman in this district who believed that the L.I. Kidd building should become a heritage center under our control. So I want to commend Councilman Darius Brown for bringing this resolution to City Council. And I want to commend Mayor Williams, who when he was running for office said these words, I'll never forget it. He said, black people, we can tell our own stories. Mayor, we can tell our own stories, and we will tell our own stories. Thank you. I now call to the microphone the Vice President of the Board of Directors, the Reverend Lawrence Wright, who will speak to the occasion and bring you in up to date on some additional background information. Reverend Wright.
Thank you, Harmon. Good morning to all of our elected officials and ladies and gentlemen. In 2011, the African American Heritage Center organization was born with Mayor Jim Seals serving as its president. We had as our primary objective of establishing an African American Heritage Center on the east side, which was designated by Wilmington City Council as an African American Heritage Zone in 2000. From 2000 to 2011, no advancement was made to make this center a reality. Mayor Seals, being the visionary that he is, created a board of directors with various backgrounds to begin the process of making our objective come to fruition. We spent many days and nights brainstorming the possibilities of how, who, what, and when. We met with Mayor Williams and his staff, President Theo Gregory, City Council and City Council members, Councilman Darius Brown, primarily because of his 3rd District representation. We had previously met or made presentations to the prior administration. We conducted community hearings. We met with the Economic and Development Committee, we met with the Real Estate and Housing Committee, and we met with potential charitable foundations. I'm happy today to inform you that we recently met with 2 distinguished gentlemen, Kyle Myers to my left and Carl Jenkins to my left, known as Dice Raw. Thank you so much for your support and your help. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that African American history, especially in Wilmington and particularly the East Side, must be captured and preserved not only for this present time, but as well as for future generations yet to come. So what is it that has brought us here today? The culmination of all of the aforementioned and the action of Wilmington City Council on June 2nd, 2016, when 11 council members approved the resolution sponsored by Councilman Darius Brown to award the African American Heritage Center organization the Allied Kid Building. Therefore, today, August 4th, 2016, Mayor Dennis P. Williams and Mayor Jane Seals will validate this significant and historic decision by signing the contractual agreement that will give the African American Heritage Center owner of the Allied Kid Building. Thank you. It's my happy privilege now to bring to the podium the councilman of the 3rd District, Councilman Darius Brown.
Good morning. Good morning, East Side. It is good to be on the East Side. I like to call it the place where opportunity lives because this is the birthplace of the city of Wilmington. And it is also the birthplace of African American life and African American identity in the city of Wilmington. I want to thank my council colleagues who are here with me and ask them if they would join me up here. Councilman Michael Brown, Councilman Justin Wright, and Council President Theo Gregory. As they're here with me, I also want to recognize our Neighborhood Planning Council President, Mr. Jan Dennis, who's here. You can say hello, wave your hand, Mr. Dennis. It is impossible for us to be here today without our legislative body, our mayor and his administration, and also the community being engaged, involved, and committed. As you know, this has been a dream for over 20 years. It has been a promise for over 15 years. And so today, with the signing of this ceremony, this is not a promise or a dream deferred, but it is a promise that we've made good on, that we would bring life and culture and celebrate the contributions of African Americans here on Wilmington's East Side. I want to thank my mother for being here because I grew up and was raised just a block from here on Clifford Brown Walk, and there's much of African American history that surrounds this very building that we sit at here today. As you all know, the Louis L. Redding building is a block to my left, as well as the Knotty Pine restaurant. Howard High School sits a block down to my south, and then also because we're sitting here on Clifford Brown Walk. There is no better location. There is no better location in the city of Wilmington for us to celebrate the contributions of African Americans than here on 11th and Clifford Brown Walk. As part of us doing this, I first went after talking to Mayor Sills and talking to his board and got the commitment of City Council and the mayor. And Mayor, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being the mayor that was committed, and not only just committed in word, but committed in deed in working with your administration to bring this project to fruition. So thank you very much. With us doing that, you would think that the process is good, the process is complete. But as part of the legislative body and the legislative process, the resolution still had to pass City Council. And so the reason why I've asked my council colleagues to be here with me, because I want history to be recorded, not just that Darius did this, but that City Council did this. And without these members of council supporting me, we would not be here today. I do want to add a little anecdote to that and make sure people understand that the night that this resolution was passed, not all 13 members of council was present. I also want to make this anecdote and let people know that our council president had another commitment. And as a part of his commitment, he could have appointed the pro tem to take over that council and then just left and went to his meeting. But he stayed there to make sure that this resolution had the support and passed before he left. Those are the things that are important to me, because many of you know the challenges we've had over the last 20 years in bringing this to fruition. And so I want to thank Councilman Brown, I want to thank Councilman Justin Wright, and I want to thank our Council President Theo Gregory for their commitment to this project. And with that, I'll let the Council President have a few words.
Thank you, Darius. The vote was actually 9 for, 1 against, and you can research the records and call up the City Council and find out who was the 1 no vote, and 3 absent for appropriate and legitimate reasons, as they were excused absences. But there was 1 no vote. With that, I want to say that the work is not done, and I can tell you that in order for this to come to fruition and the actual zone to come to fruition, you're going to need federal dollars, state dollars, county dollars, and you're going to need city dollars. And all of those organizations should stay behind this effort, as well as monies from the philanthropic communities. Let me just commend Darius Brown, and I know Harmon Carey and former Mayor Jim Sills for remaining steadfast in this effort. And I'm using a euphemism when I say steadfast. It was beyond steadfast, but they did what they had to do. They kept it on the front burner. And folk think that things just happen sometimes, but there was a lot of strategy going into here. Even on my own radar screen, it was back and forth until Councilman Brown got a position in such a way that we could bring this forth and cause this to be passed. So thank you all for coming out, but I can tell you this project is going to need your voice, and your voice is going forward, absolutely, because you got some haters out there. You got some haters out there. So you're going to need your voice going forward. So remain steadfast, and thank you, and God bless you very much.
Thank you very much, Darius, and Theo, and members of council. Now's the big moment. Mayor Williams and Mayor Sills, come on up here. Yes, indeed. Oh, you come with him. Okay. You know, these guys made history. Jim became the first African-American mayor, and Dennis became the first Wilmington-born African-American male. So that's worthy of a round of applause. Okay, well, they may want to say something. You want to say something before you sign the agreement?
Just quickly, Harmon. Very few words. These folks are going to go and get this signed and get it on. I thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here. This is a great day. This should have been done a long time ago. And today, we're going to get this done. And I want to thank Harmon Carey, Reverend Wright, Mayor Jim Sills. They were a fixture in my office. They would never go away. Harmon is very aggressive. Harmon knows where I live. He was on my porch half the time. He even said something smart about me on the Sunday show on Channel 28. I got in my car and drove over there. I said, "Now, why are you talking about me like that?" But he knew he could draw me in. But this is a commitment I made when I was running for office back in 2012. This should have never taken this long. And there's nothing wrong with being black, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be ashamed of being black. We have a history. Me and Jim Sills go back when I was a kid. I did something a little honoring, and he hates when I tell this story. He was my probation officer. A lot of people don't know that. Come on up here, Mayor. I kicked a can of trash over in his office one day, and he said, "You're the reason you're here. Go pick the trash up." I said, "You make me pick it up." He put the Vulcan death grip on me, and I was doing the duck walk. I think I picked up more than I kicked over, but it taught me something. He was the man. Mayor.
Praise the Lord, folks. It's good to be back home, and I say that literally. I lived on the east side when I came to Wilmington in 1959. I moved to the east side to become executive director of People's Settlement. And I moved my family to 6th and Pine Street. And we were there for 36 years. My kids were raised on the east side, so I have a special passion for this area. Before I signed the document, Mayor Williams and I want to make 3 brief comments. One, I would ask all of you to look at this building as an extension of a long-standing belief in the black community, in all black communities across the country. And that belief has been that the promotion and recognition of African American history ought to be longer than 1 month a year. And that the promotion and recognition of African American history ought to be ongoing 12 months a year. Well, we anticipate this building in back of us having an array of African American history and historical preservation activities for 12 months with your help. That's number one. Number two, we don't believe we can decide by ourselves as a small group what ought to be in this building. We think we need to reach out to the community and reach out to other communities that have established African American heritage centers and bring back to this building the most relevant African American historical and African American preservation programs that are possible. But we need your help. We need to get your opinions. 2 of the people who are going to co-chair our program committee to help make these decisions, one is Ruth Baker and one is Cecilia Hoy. They are both here. They both need your help on this committee. They need to get your input. Cecilia and Ruth, please stand so people can see you. The third point I would make is that, and it's been referred to, is that we need money to make this a reality. Steele Gregory indicated, yes, we need money from the county government, the state government, more money from the city government, and from other institutions. And we need to do a better job of advocating for the schools to promote African American history. But at some point, folks, the people in the community have to put skin in the game, okay? We have to step up to the plate and contribute money to help this building become a reality and to support the programs that we know are needed for our young people to know more about our history, to take pride in our history, to be motivated to take advantage of our history to be better citizens. And I'm going to ask two people now to stand up, Thornton Carroll and Gary Hutt, if they're still here. Thornton Carroll is here, Gary Hutt. Thornton is co-chair of the fundraising committee along with Gary Hutt. And we ask that you contact Thornton and Gary and join us in raising the $1.7 million it will take to renovate this building and to make it into the thriving, very relevant African American Institute especially to educate and to learn. That's what we want this building to represent. Education and learning for our young people and others. I think I've said all I need to say right now. Harmon, have I missed something?
No, I think you're doing pretty good. You're on the road. Keep on.
Thank you so much for being here this morning and for your continuing support. We think we're on to something very good, something that's going to be in the long run very productive for our community and for our children. And at this point, Mayor Williams and I will sit here at this table and sign this agreement so that this building becomes ours.
All right.
That's everything.
Praise the Lord.